Hello, I'm Mike Wilson, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers from the Indiana State House in downtown Indianapolis. Officials and lawmakers from across the state are joining us throughout this year's legislative session for discussions on a pretty broad range of important topics. And joining me right now, Representative John Bartlett. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you for the invite.
So we've got a lot of issues. There's a cornucopia of issues to discuss so far, and it's a short legislative session. So
absolutely,
a lot of work to do, not a lot of time to do it in.
Yes.
What are you worried about?
The condition of our state. Human trafficking is a $153 billion a year industry and one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And we don't talk about it, we're not addressing. Indy Star is finally doing a piece on it. But I put together a human trafficking task force over the summer just to study it. And I've learned that it's three parts to it. There's the sex trade, there's the slave labor trade, and then there's a human organ trade where they just cut you open and sell your organs. And I think we need to spend more time educating the public to the fact that that's going on. We had a bust here in the state of Indiana about 10 weeks ago. 128 adults were arrested in Indianapolis, Lafayette, South Bend. 82 juveniles were recovered, and the youngest was 3 months old. And it's like, oh well, and we're not doing enough to educate the public on that.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff, and certainly nothing that anybody wants in their backyard, and a trade that needs to come to an end. But what do you do when it's an international system operating within your state? That's got to be a challenge, right?
Yes, but my dad used to always say a journey of 1,000 miles start with the first step. Mm-hmm. So we have to do what we can here in the great state of Indiana to make things as uncomfortable for those as we possibly can. When the youngest was 3 months old, recovered right here in the great state of Indiana, then we certainly have some work to do. Sweeping it under the rug is not an answer. That drunk man syndrome, just get drunk and the problem go away, that does not work. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. So we as legislators, we have to take it on.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're doing that right now?
No. Let me explain it to you this way. In my opinion, human trafficking, $153 billion a year industry. It's happening right here in the great state of Indiana. 33 to 40% of the people who are incarcerated are not criminals but have mental health issues. We don't talk about that. We're not addressing that. We've closed our mental health facilities. I was at the credit union about a month ago, and guys walking down the street naked. Police come, they take him to jail. He didn't harm anybody. He's just had some chemical imbalance in his mind, but they didn't have any place else to take him but to jail. And that's unfair. When you're sick, you shouldn't have to go to jail because you're sick, okay? Our educational system needs to be completely overhauled. All of our students are not college material. Some of them want a vocation, and they should be allowed to pick where they want to go to college or vocation. And we're not addressing that issue. Also, the redistricting has been so that the legislators now pick their voters rather than the voters picking their legislators. And we govern with the consent of the governed. And sometimes I think we forget that. Case in point, in the House, the most important bill in the House will be 1001. The budget bill on odd years always 1001. That's the most important bill in the House. The most important bill in the Senate would be 001. You know what 001 was this year? Sunday alcohol sales. With all the problems that we have, that was the number one issue. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you think we got our priorities a little backwards?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. It was a good talk.
All right.
And for more great conversations with leaders in our community, please visit ComcastNewsmakers.com.